Training is a system, right? A system doesn't have to be perfect. What does need to be perfect is the consistency with which we execute that system. Why do we have a training program in the first place? Because it gives us structure, it removes any decision fatigue, and it gives us a roadmap. If you don't know which port you're sailing to, no wind is favorable. So having a training program gives us a port to sail to, a roadmap. We know exactly where we're going, and we know what we're going to do over the next 4 to 6 weeks at least in order to get to the end goal. You can have a very, very basic program. That's hard. It's not great. It doesn't really hit all the muscle groups. It's kind of messy and sporadic. But if you're very consistent with it and you're progressively overloading it and you stick to it for a long enough time, you will get substantial results. Whereas you can have a fantastic program which is scientifically adapted to every atom in your body. But if you only do it for a week and then you take a week off, or you do it for a month even, and then you take 3 weeks off, you're not going to get anywhere near the same results as if you had the mediocre program that you stayed consistent with. So yeah, consistency is the multiplier. It turns the small daily actions into a longer term transformation. If you have the perfect system tailored towards you, and then you also have the consistency alongside that, that is the ideal state. That is the ideal state. That's the place we want to be, and we'll get the best results. If we zoom into 1 week, right? From the 4 to 6, we have our system, we know exactly what we're doing, we have our goal over a macro scale. If we zoom into 1 week, it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. We're all busy individuals, we have work, we have jobs, we have, commitments. It's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be a clean execution of the program on a small day-to-day basis. How do we carry over that mentality to this situation where we're very busy and we don't have too much time and we find ourselves being inconsistent on the day-to-day time frame? Is you want to do something rather than nothing. Because often people think, okay, I only have 30 minutes. I would only have 30 minutes to go to the gym today. So my workout's an hour long, there's no point. That's the most common mindset. But if you do that every single time you only have 30 minutes to the gym, which might be once a week, once every 2 weeks even, over a year, how much time have we just missed out there? When we could have gone to the gym, done 20 minutes, and left. Just one of the most important aspects of consistency that I would love to just get people to understand is something is always better than nothing. A terrible workout is always better than no workout at all. Because it's not always going to be the perfect workout. It's not always going to be we're feeling motivated. And that's the core aspect of discipline. All of these people who got these fantastic results were held accountable. Because they were held accountable by myself and my team, they were consistent. And because they were consistent, mixed with a perfect plan as well, that is the reason why they got such fantastic results. If you want to genuinely transform your life and be like one of these people who took action, click the first link below and book in a free consultation call with myself and we will talk about it. Don't wait until the new year. If we're able to train, we're not injured, we will show up and we will execute as much of the plan as we can. There will be days when you just feel terrible. You feel absolutely terrible. Maybe you've had a terrible day at work. Maybe, something's happened with your family, whatever. And in these days, I just tell myself, just show up. Just turn up to the gym. I might not even do a workout. I'm just going to show up to the gym and I might even just go straight home. But I'm just going to show up. And then you show up and you start warming. Okay, maybe I'll just warm up. Maybe I'll just do 5-10 minutes on the treadmill. You do 5-10 minutes on the treadmill and it starts feeling better. And you're like, actually, you know what? I'll lift some weights. I'll lift some weights. Maybe I will lift some weights. And before you know it, you've done a whole 30-minute, 40-minute workout. And that's how you want to do it. When you're feeling very down, when you're feeling demotivated, when you're feeling like life has really got on top of you and you don't want to do your workout, you're not feeling motivated, just break everything down. Forget about the longer term vision, just break everything down. What single action can I do which will at least point me in the right direction towards that end goal? And that first single action is getting in the car and going to the gym. And look, you might even get to the gym and decide you want to turn back and go home, fine. But at least you actually took some action. At least you took some kind of action. And that's that's it. That is really it when it comes to mindset. If you're able to ingrain that into your mind, to do something, to do a singular action, pointing you towards the right direction when you're feeling down, that is what you need to then get results 14 months later. to transform your whole body and your whole life 5 years later, maybe. But it requires that decision day in, day out. It doesn't require the execution of the plan day in, day out, because that's never going to happen to perfection. It requires that decision. These actions compound on top of each other. So once you do one, you start building up some momentum. And once you have some momentum, it's very easy to be motivated. It's very easy to be motivated when things are going well. Everyone always says that. So you need to get things going well. You need to get that momentum going. And the way that you do that is by just taking one step at a time, breaking it down, pointing yourself in the right direction. And a good kind of mantra I like to live by is treat yourself as if you're taking care of someone. Treat yourself as if you're trying to teach someone how to live. What does that mean? Well, if your very close sibling, younger sibling, was telling you, I'm tired, I don't want to go to the gym, I'm not feeling great, what would you then say to them? And that's kind of how you should talk to yourself, because sometimes we don't think rationally. We're not, sometimes we just don't. We're humans. None of us ever think perfectly rationally. And so we kind of have to lead ourselves step by step on sometimes. So perfection is not required. Perfection on a day-to-day basis is not required. That's something which people often get wrong, because then they'll have a fantastic week. I see this day in, day out. They'll have a fantastic week. Every workout's executed. New PRs are hit. We're stronger than we were last week. And the next week, we're down a bit. Not feeling so great. Missed 2 workouts. Weaker than last week. And that's like they get into a deep hole and they're like, what's the point? Is this even worth it? And that's why you need to remember, if you have a good week where you hit all your workouts and you hit personal bests in all your workouts, that is very, very rare. That's very, very rare. So celebrate it. Be proud of it. That's a testament to the hard work of consistency. In fact, I shouldn't even phrase it as hard work. I should phrase it as consistent work. That's a testament of consistent work when you hit personal bests. Yeah, be proud of yourself, but don't expect that every single week, because it's not going to happen and you will be disappointed. We can have the most scientific workout plans in the world, the most scientific nutrition plans in the world, but nothing will beat consistency and showing up over a long period of time. Doing something when you feel like doing nothing. Nothing will defeat that. Nothing. Okay, so that's the core aspect of the training. And that's kind of where the coaching comes in, right? Because I've had a lot of coaches in my past as well, and at times when I've not really needed them. I know what the training is that I need to do, but it has that extra element of accountability, whereby I've now got someone looking over my shoulder. I've now got someone to disappoint if I don't show up to my workouts, and I've got now someone to explain myself to if I miss my training and I don't stick to my plan. That's more powerful than any perfectly scientific workout. And it doesn't have to be a coach. It can just be a friend. It can be a relative, someone you're on your journey with. But having that accountability partner, having someone there, that is a game changer. That is honestly a game changer. And I did that for my fitness, but I also do that for various different aspects of my life, because it's just so powerful having that accountability there. And why do we do that accountability? Well, it just makes the consistency easier. Everything comes back down to the consistency. Everything's about how can we be as consistent as possible for a long enough period of time. That's what we're trying to do here. That's what we're trying to create. A system where we can be consistent with. So, yeah, don't get too caught up in the day-to-day training and making sure every workout's perfect. Do not get caught up in that. Show up, be consistent, hold yourself accountable. But also, if you have a fantastic plan alongside all of that, you're winning. And it's a way of getting the most out of your efforts as well, I suppose. It's funny because when people ask, how do you get into shape? How can I get into shape? What should I eat? And what should I do in the gym? That shouldn't be the first question. That shouldn't be the first point of interest. It should be, where is your mindset at? Are you ready to play the long game? Are you ready to show up when you don't feel like showing up? Okay, you are? Cool. Now let's talk about the workout plan and nutrition and this and that. You see, so it's kind of like, that's the most important thing. When in history has someone ever not felt like doing a workout, executed the workout, and then felt worse? It doesn't happen. You always feel better when you finish a workout. That is a fact. That's a fact. No matter what you're going through in your life, you might have had the worst day of your life, but you will feel a little bit better with endorphins pumping around you. You will feel a little bit more accomplished having done some physical training.